What's going on, guys? So if you are in the market for an equipment trailer, basically something that you can use to haul around a mini excavator, zero-turn mowers, tractors, all sorts of other stuff you may have, you may want to watch this video because we're going to talk about different trailers. Now, I have several trailers out here. I have a micro dump trailer, I have my normal dump trailer, I have a 14-foot utility trailer, super heavy-duty utility trailer. I have my new Texas Pride DECKOVER flat deck trailer. This thing's awesome, as well as a Texas Pride tilt deck trailer with a hydraulic dampening system here that basically makes it go down or up slowly so you can load equipment at a much slower rate instead of it just kind of crashing down. And we're going to talk about these trailers, but really these two right here, because if you are looking for a means of hauling around, again, like a tractor, an excavator, zero turns, things like that, then these might be the types of trailers that are on your radar. So let's take a look at them. Hang tight, I'll be right back. Now, to kick things off, I want to give a big shout out to the folks over at Texas Pride for helping make this happen. Texas Pride actually built me this trailer. It's a collaboration unit, and it was really designed to show you all, first of all, their new branding, but secondly, what they're capable of doing. From a value perspective, Texas Pride is really, really hard to beat. There are some really fancy trailers out there that cost $20,000 more, and I completely get it. There's some folks that are like, you know what, I want to pay more. I want the most expensive trailer with the most kind of engineered design to it, things like that, and those trailers are out there. Texas Pride makes a really, really solid trailer at an affordable price that, quite frankly, is overbuilt. That's kind of the key behind it. They make really, really good products. We have our tilt deck trailer on this side, and we're going to talk about kind of the differences between these two trailers and why you might want one over the other. So first and foremost, from this angle, you can specifically see why one is called a tilt deck trailer and why one is called a DECKOVER trailer. A DECKOVER trailer simply means that it's a completely flat surface because the deck is over the tires. A tilt deck trailer, in this case, is a lowboy tilt deck. They make DECKOVER tilt decks as well. But this specific one is a lowboy, which means the deck height is much lower whenever it's in its closed or non-tilted position. And the reason why you may want something like this is because the height of the deck is really important to you. It needs to be as low as possible. Whether you're trying to load something that's really tall or you're trying to load something and keep the center of gravity as low as possible. Now, when you're looking at DECKOVER trailers, there's usually going to be two types of decks that you look at. One is going to be a standard lumber deck, which is essentially just all wood. If you look at it, it looks like it's all wooden planks. And then you'll see this one, which is called a pierced deck. A pierced deck means that the frame is visible from the actual deck surface. The reason why is because the lumber is actually sunk into the frame and it gives you a slightly lower deck height. The reason why you might want something like this, again, is because you want that brought down slightly. You want to reduce how much material is above the deck, and it just brings your overall approach angle to the deck at a much lower angle as well. Now, when you're looking at a tilt deck trailer like this, the only real drawback to this, and this is a big one for a lot of folks, and this is the main reason why we're going to be getting rid of this trailer, but the reason why a trailer like this might be difficult for some folks to use in a business or in a personal setting is because you can really only load one piece of equipment on it. What I mean by that is, if I load my tractor onto this trailer, I'm going to drive it up, and when it hits right about this point, this is going to slowly tilt back down thanks to the hydraulic cylinder that's underneath here that just brings it down at a really slow, gradual rate, so I don't have to worry about it slamming down. And the challenge you have is once you've loaded that on here, you really can't load anything else on. You're going to be restricted by the fact that this tilt deck mechanism is designed to load a piece of equipment on. Even though the deck length is about 23 feet long total, you have 6 feet over here. On mine, you have 5 feet because I had a toolbox added to the end. But then you have 17 foot of tilt deck trailer. When it's in its closed flat position, it's only about 6 feet, 7 feet shorter than my new trailer right over here. But again, you got to think about it. If the tractor, which doesn't take up a tremendous amount of room on here, only comes to here, I have to manually load everything else to the back. Now, some folks are going to say, why don't you just put some ramps on the back of it and use it like a regular trailer? Well, you can't, because that's not how it's designed and engineered. The main reason why is because of this hook mechanism down here, which hooks onto the bottom of the front right there. And if you put a tremendous amount of leverage on the back, you can actually damage that mechanism. It's designed and engineered to work with the hinge actually taking the load as you load equipment on. So you're never really supposed to put a tremendous amount of weight directly off of the back of it, because you could potentially damage the locking mechanism that locks the deck in place. Now, it is an overbuilt locking mechanism, so the chances that that could happen are probably relatively slim, but why risk it, right? This is one of those questions I asked them. Instead of, getting a trailer like that, why not just put a couple little cleats at the end here, put some ramps on it, and just drive equipment up it? And they said a couple things. You're going to deal with the fact that you're going to possibly overstress that area, but then also look at the overhang here. There's about 6.5 feet of overhang between the back of this tire and the back of the ramp, which means it's not going to be possible to do that unless you're hitched up, because there's a high rate of chance that if you load something heavy back here, it's going to lift the front of the trailer off the ground. So again, just things you should think about. Now, with this trailer, what's super nice about it is when the ramps are in the down position, it gives you a really nice gradual slope to get into the back or onto the back of the trailer. It's going to be a slightly higher deck height. Overall, it's about 4 to 5 inches higher than this one. It would probably be closer to 6 to 7 inches if it wasn't a pierced beam frame. And this deck height gives you almost the entire deck to use when the ramps are in their open position. What I mean by that is, if they're in a closed position like this, and we try to load a piece of equipment on it, it overhangs, we won't be able to lift these ramps back up and close them. But because this gives us the ability to actually pin them in the up position, we can use the entire deck length here. We have the entire deck length available, and it's completely flat. So whenever loading something like the mini excavator, I don't have to worry about trying to fit it right between these fenders, because when I load it onto this trailer, I only have, I'm not even kidding you, a 1/4 inch of space on each side between this fender and the actual tracks. So having something like this, which is going to give me roughly, probably 10 inches of clearance on each side, is a really, really nice thing. And again, I could load my mini excavator up here, I could load my tractor up here, and probably some extra buckets if I needed to, which will really come in handy. Another thing I love about this trailer is the fact that it has these sliding ratchet mounts. So these right here give me the ability, with the 4-inch straps that are included in the toolbox, to ratchet things down, as opposed to trying to find places on my rubber rail right here to get things connected to. It also has the tubes that are built in, and this gives me the ability to lash my chains around here when I'm using binders. So if I'm moving the excavator, I can't use straps except for the bucket. I need to use binders. And this is going to give me that capability of actually clawing the binders. This trailer doesn't actually have that feature. Still got the rail, but anything that I chain down, I'm chaining down to either the stake pockets right here or the actual rail itself. The rail on here is also significantly thicker. So this rail right here is about a 1/4 inch thick. The rail on this one looks to be about 3/8 inch thick. So again, there's a lot of reasons why this trailer is more practical for me and why we'll be getting rid of this one. Now, I love this trailer from a convenience perspective. So if you are a company that needs to load a skid steer on, and that's what you're primarily moving around, or a mini excavator, and that's what you're primarily moving around, this trailer is great, because all you do is literally drive it up and you're good to go. And perhaps you need to load more than one bucket. You can actually drive it up, have it come down, drop a bucket off right here, disconnect it, and then back it down and put the bucket that's on the tractor, leave it on the tractor. You have a lot of capability from that perspective, which is also really nice. Now, from a usability perspective, what's really nice about the Tiltec trailer is just the speed and convenience of loading and unloading. All you have to do with this one is come underneath here. You're going to pop this pin out, and it will have a spot to retain it, so you don't have to like hold it out. You push this pedal down, you open up the valve right there, and then you're ready to rock and roll. You know, you basically stand on the back of it. It'll drop down if it's empty. It takes about 20 seconds to drop down completely. When you load the equipment on, it'll automatically come back down and lock in place, and then you simply close the valve and lock it, and you're good to go. On this one, you do have to wrestle with some ramps. They're not heavy. Well, they are super heavy, but they're assisted with 4 springs back here. So you have a spring here, and 2 springs right there, which make these very, very easy to actually open and close if you need to. Let's see if I can do it one-handed so I can show you versus just tell you. So you can take this metal rod off. If I wanted to put these in the upright position, I would pin this back end right here, right down here, and then this would be in the up position. But to open it, one hand, And there you go. Check that out. I mean, that is no time at all to do that. It's supported on the ground, so I don't have to worry about the front of the trailer lifting off, and the axles are back here. So again, I just don't have that leverage to really ever have to worry about the front of the trailer lifting off the ground. But the way it's designed also assists with that. It's a very, very shallow slope. And what's kind of interesting is this slope right here is actually a little shallower than the slope of this trailer in its tilted position. So this trailer, I don't have to worry about any clearance issues at all, because as I drive up, it's completely flat. This one, I'll still have to worry a little bit about clearance issues when I'm getting to this area right here, this breakover angle, just to make sure that I'm not going to bottom out something. And then the other thing that is interesting about this one is with this type of ramp, it's called a mammoth ramp with a dovetail. So basically the back portion of the trailer, the last 5 feet, tilt down, and then the ramp comes off the back of it. But there are pretty large spaces between the support material right here. And those spaces are what's called self-cleaning. So basically this gives you the ability, if you have something that's really dirty, as it works its way up, everything kind of falls through here and it cleans off the tracks or cleans off the tires. And in the case of like a zero turn or something like that, that still shouldn't be a problem. The tires are pretty large and I shouldn't have any issue loading them on here. But with this one, of course, you can see you don't have that. You don't have that cleaning mechanism built into it, and it's completely flat. But what is nice is it's really easy to blow off, right? If you have a leaf blower or something like that, you can easily blow it off and get it really clean really quickly. Now, this specific trailer, again, has the full deck width available to me. So if I have my mini excavator, which would probably go to, really, I would put that towards the back. I'd load that one last because I want the majority of that weight resting right in this area. I don't want all of that weight transferring to the back of the truck, or at least I don't want the majority of the weight transferring to the back of the truck, because you could easily overload a truck by just putting the weight on it incorrectly. But if I were to load my tractor would go here because it only weighs about 4,000 pounds or less. My excavator would go right here. And that would give me, again, the ability to transfer weight in a way that's not going to overload the back of the truck, because that is something you got to definitely pay attention to. Now to close this up, just grab the handle. And then again, I can pin it in the up position like this as well if I want. And that's it. Now, talking price, that's going to be a big one. So this trailer, whenever we got it, as equipped, had a base price of a little over $12,500. $12,500 would get you kind of the base configuration here. You wouldn't get that toolbox. You wouldn't get that toolbox. You would have manual front jacks. These are hydraulic front jacks. You would not get the winch. So we have a Warren 8,000-pound winch up here, not some generic brand. It's a really good brand. You wouldn't get the 12-inch spacing for your cross beams or your cross members across the bottom of it. You definitely wouldn't get Alcoa aluminum wheels, actually Alcoa brand. You wouldn't get these incredibly crazy rated J-load range 17.5-inch tires. You'd get a slightly lower load range tire. We got lighting up here as well, so the LED lighting wouldn't come on it. This also has an Alcoa full-size spare, same tire on it as well. This also has a charging system on it, but underneath here, I have a brand new pump. So I replaced the pump in here, has a new battery in here as well. It has the corded remote so you can raise and lower your landing gear. And I added this Noco Genius 10X1 charging system as well, so you can charge the house battery if you need to. So as configured, this specific trailer costs about $23,000. Okay, so I'm cutting this into the video because I made a little bit of a pricing mistake. The build on this trailer was actually $21,645, so not over $23,000. The upgrades on it were so it's the base price of a steel deck trailer. So this one actually has, again, the 1/8-inch thick steel deck on it, which is an upgrade. It also is the 102-inch wide deck with drive-over fenders. It has no rails on the side, 20,000-pound GVWR, 9,000-pound axles derated to 12,000 pounds, 8.5 feet wide by 23 feet long with a 17-foot plus a 6-foot deck. And you can see that we have a toolbox taking up about a foot of it towards the end. And the options were the 17.5-inch 18-ply mounted spare, as well as the 18-ply upgrade over the 16-ply tires. Upgrade to cross members on 12-inch centers, the winch plate, the 8,000-pound Warren winch, the red paint, the locking front toolbox, as well as this toolbox that was put on here, the kingpin adapter, which is inside of that toolbox, the 2 LED work lights, as well as the aluminum Alcoa, genuine Alcoa wheels, 24K combined hydraulic front jacks, so they're 12,000-pound jacks and they are hydraulically controlled, and then the deep cycle marine battery plus charger and solar panel. So yeah, that's what caused the price, and the price is $21,645. That's the build price of this trailer. A lot of features. Features add up really quickly, but I just wanted to share that with you guys since, yeah, it's a couple $1,000s less than what I had quoted originally. So back to the original video. As part of the collaboration, I did get a discount off of that, so I did not pay the full $23,000 for it. The trailer over there, on the other hand, as configured, is about a $27,500 trailer. That gets you a lot. It gets you all of these ratchet straps that slide down the side. It gets you the extra lighting, plus the hutch suspension, which is really, really nice. That is a huge upgrade. I have the much heavier duty tires on here as well. Twin 1,500-pound axles for a total of 30,000 pounds worth of axle capacity. I have the mammoth ramps that have the additional springs on it. I have the tubes right here, pierced beam like we talked about earlier. This also has the Warren winch on it. This has a GPS tracking system built into it as well. With collaborations from Gen Y, we put this new Spartan coupler on the front of it, which is really nice with their new snap latch connector right there. We have the hydraulic front landing gear on it. I have the battery and pump inside of there for that. We have the toolboxes on the side. They are absolutely huge, 36 inches long, both sealed. So yeah, there's a lot on this trailer that makes it extra special, and it has this beautiful gray paint job with the new Texas Pride badging, plus the spare tire up top. So this is a beast of a trailer, but it's more practical for how I'm going to use it. This has been an absolutely great trailer, but to be honest with you, I don't use this as much as I would like to use it, mainly because it's just used to carry equipment essentially wherever I need to take that equipment. But overall, it is an awesome tilt deck trailer. I already have a lot of folks who are interested in it, and it probably won't be here for very long, but we will definitely miss it. This is one of the first collaborations that we did with the folks over at Texas Pride, and they built me an absolutely phenomenal tilt deck trailer. Anyways, guys, sure hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully that explains to you and you kind of get why we got this trailer right here. It made sense. It wasn't one that we absolutely had to get, but it's definitely going to be a really big convenience for us, plus the fact that it's a collaboration unit. So the folks over at Texas Pride really wanted to show what they were capable of doing, and they built us this trailer and they provided it to the channel so I could give you reviews, evaluations, and my personal opinion of how this thing performs. But it is really, really an awesome trailer. As is this one, as is my utility trailer, as is my dump trailer, as is my micro dump trailer. All Texas Pride trailers. Anyways, guys, please drop a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we will talk to you again very soon.